Okay, so some of you were not here for my show last night. I'm sure some of you were busy doing other things. Let me play a clip. I want everybody to just walk with me on this one. It's going to be a different kind of show. If you're new to the show, my name is Tim Black. We live stream 5 days a week. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today is Thursday Thunder. It's a little different kind of show. It's going to be heavy on the commentary and dialogue, and I want to talk with you. A little less on the clips, but I got a couple because I want to make sure everybody understands what I'm saying here. I'm trying not to get censored. But I don't trust them. Now, fam, I do not trust what's going on with our politics today. And I believe these things, these types of messages that are coming out from one side of the aisle, particularly, puts us all at risk. And I feel like they're doing it on purpose. I feel like it is a concerted effort to get to a goal. And I think that goal is chaos. That's what I believe, fam. Let me play this clip. So anybody who wasn't here yesterday.
Agency disappearing people. We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps, both domestic and foreign. I
think that's kind of insulting to,
I think it's
Jewish
insulting what they're doing.
Wait,
it is not insulting to Jewish Holocaust. I find it insulting that you could even fix your mouth to defend this disgusting behavior.
Ovens at these?
It's not a death camp.
It doesn't matter. It's a concentration camp what they're doing, and they are disappearing people, claiming that these are people who have committed the most harsh crime.
Did you just hear what she said? I talked a little bit too much last night when I played this clip. The lady said, are they putting them in gas ovens? What are you talking about? She said, it doesn't matter. The concentration camps. It most certainly does matter. You just said concentration camps. That's what happened at concentration camps. People were starved to death, worked to death, and put into ovens. Why is she able to say that on national TV and I get a community warning for basic shit? I got a community warning for saying that Kamala Harris's campaign was doomed. And it was, and she lost, and I wrote a book about it. It's for free. Go to Kamala8reasons.com. And I got a community warning about it. She can go on CNN and say, the U.S. government is rounding up people, kidnapping them, and putting them in concentration camps. And this woman just said, why are you using that type of language? What are you saying? What do you mean concentration camps? Are you saying they're putting them in ovens? And she said, no, it doesn't matter. Folks, they have gone too far. It is intentional. Tiffany Cross is not a maverick. She's not the only one. And she's not a maverick. She's not a trailblazer. She's not more courageous than anybody else on the planet. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you is these are directives handed down by the Democratic Party. I do not believe this woman is a trailblazer setting the tone for the country. I believe she's not acting alone. I believe she's acting on guidelines that were given to her, talking points that were given to her. That's what I believe.
That is not.
I think that's kind of insulting to.
I think it's
Jewish
insulting what they're
Holocaust
doing.
survivors.
It is not insulting to Jewish Holocaust. I find it insulting that you could even fix your mouth to defend this disgusting
gas
behavior.
ovens at these?
It's not a death camp.
It doesn't matter. It's a concentration camp what they're doing, and they are disappearing people, claiming that these are people who have committed the most harsh crimes. But according to the reporting, less than 10% of these people have committed harsh crimes. So to do the victim Olympics and decide who had it worse, I can tell you, I can participate in that too. And everybody who says, "Oh, this this is not the America I know. I can guarantee you it is the America I know. Can I finish my point, please?
Yes.
We are the fact that we're presenting this like it's political fodder, that a government agency is disappearing people. It is not a political point. It has nothing to do with Jewish people, because despite the fact that 20% of immigrants in this country are white, we do not see white people getting carted off to concentration camps. So if we can just focus on the people who are harmed the most by this, and not make yourself or somebody else the center of attention, when that's not who's getting impacted by this.
Jewish, but I'm saying
or anyone else the center of attention.
Tensions are so heightened. Using that kind of language, I think, is not helpful.
The tensions are heightened because this BS administration is kidnapping people. It has nothing to do with my language. It has to do with the actions that are being taken by this administration.
How many people have been disappeared that you've never heard from again, and we don't know anything about them or where they've gone?
Thousands of people.
And
are you
never
serious?
heard about them? Where they're
yes.
Nothing really.
Are you a reporter? Are you not a reporter? Yes.
I was looking, folks. I've been looking all day. I've checked multiple sources. I cannot find any evidence to back up what Tiffany Cross is saying. I can't find any evidence whatsoever. Anybody's got any evidence they want to submit to me, fine. I've been scouring the internet. I've been using various tools at my disposal. I cannot find any evidence that backs up her claims of concentration camps, of thousands of people being disappeared and kidnapped, never to be seen again. These things I have not seen, heard a word of. I cannot find these. I cannot find documentation at all. Once again, I do not believe that she invented these talking points. Abby Phillip did not ask her to verify, to quote a source, nothing. This goes out to the world, you know. This goes out to everybody in the country. Every screwball, every person who's got nothing to lose with a born to lose tattoo on their thigh, on their back. You understand what I'm saying? And what is that? What message are they sending? Now, what if people believe this? What if they believe what they hear from CNN? What if, I know it's kooky for you and I because we don't, but what if there are people that believe this? What about those people? What are those people? It don't take a lot of people. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't take a lot of people for somebody to lose their mind, for somebody to go and do some things. That's all I'm saying. And this is intentional. That didn't slip. She went in the conversation and it slipped out. She says the same thing about 4 or 5 times doing this segment. She repeatedly says concentration camps. She repeatedly states disappeared. And this got me concerned, fam.
Yes, thousands of people.
We managed to find
Thousands of
people in
people.
El Salvadoran prisons who, were sent
I'm sorry,
there.
I just want to be clear. Are you defending what's happening in this
I am not
administration?
defending. I'm
it
saying
sounds
let's
like
be accurate about what's happening.
I'm being very accurate, and it is very disgusting what this administration.
Why aren't you stating any? Why is she not stating where her numbers come from? You don't know about it. Everybody knows about it. We all know that's what's happening. No, we don't know. Tell us how you know. Tell us where the numbers are. Thousands of people are being disappeared off the streets. Now, we know that happens over time with our children. We know there's a lot of human trafficking. There's human trafficking that occurs in this country. Are you suggesting that our government is trafficking humans? Or that the cartels are trafficking humans? What are you saying, lady? She's saying that the government is picking people up and disappearing them and they'll never be seen again.
Is doing in 10, 5, 6 months, 20 years from now, I hope that you can look back at this very clip and realize that you were on the wrong side of history if you're trying to remotely defend what's happening. There are fathers, mothers, and young people who are being carted off to concentration camps, and less than 10% of these people have committed any sort of violent crime. They are coming up, people whose our kids are in school. They are never to see their families again.
I got a problem with it, fam. I got a problem with this. I say that this is a more serious problem than we are. It's a more serious problem than what most of us would consider. I think that We hear it. I heard it last night, and I talked about it. I did a segment on it. It's not performing well. I don't know why my rebuttal to her is doing so badly. Why was my reporting on this particular topic like one of my worst videos of the month? And it's such a high-profile issue. Doesn't make sense. Now, I know people find her off-putting when she starts talking. But still, that doesn't account for the low viewership. Something's going on. I don't think this is happening by accident. That's all I'm saying. I don't think her talking points are by accident. I don't think she's the ringleader of these talking points. I believe other people are giving her these talking points to repeat, hence the term talking points. She ain't coming up with this on her own. That guy next to her was nodding his head saying thousands. What thousands of people are being disappeared? When I first started looking at it, fam, I thought maybe, because after I couldn't find any evidence of thousands of people being disappeared, I started thinking maybe she's talking about people being incarcerated. Maybe she's talking about people being incarcerated, or being detained, arrested, put into a detention center, and then going to trial. Maybe that's what she's talking about. And maybe she just does not like, or the Democrats are so hypersensitive to the possibility of their new voting bloc that the future of the Democratic Party rests, believe in what I tell you. Based on everything that I've been looking at, the future of the Democratic Party rests almost solely on the backs of these new arrivals. Black people have cooled to the Democratic Party. They don't have much left. They ain't going to be able to recreate the Zoran. Everybody's not going to buy that. Zoran's going to give everybody a pony and a free house forever, for life. Everybody's not going to buy that type of rhetoric in every state or every city. Everybody's not going to buy that. That's not going to sell everywhere. It ain't going to sell down south. Black folks ain't going to believe that pie in the sky bullshit. That ain't going to work with them. They know stuff costs money. When we start talking that way, they shut off immediately. So that ain't going to work. It's going to work with a certain class of people, certain group of people. So what I'm saying is the Democrats are reacting in a very dangerous way to the possibility of not having their last hope. And their last hope, man, is those undocumented people. Why do you think? Let's go to another clip.
And so many people, you know why the Biden administration released millions of people? Releasing so many people, you know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night? They did it on purpose, because when you put them in an ice detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. But if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings could be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power. They can award an amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country out for future political power. That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done.
So the border czar, Tom Homan, remember, border czar, under Trump, but also under Obama, correct? Also under Obama. He says strategy. So it's all part of their strategy. It's not just happening. It's not just Tiffany Cross losing their marbles. He's saying that, yeah, this is their intention. They put them in those hotels. to keep them from going to a detention center where they will be fast-tracked, get their hearing, and be gone. So that's what Tiffany Cross is saying, but she ain't saying it because she don't want to say the whole thing. She'd rather leave it open-ended, leave it gray, and leave people thinking people are being disappeared off the earth. Nah, they've been put in a detention center, they go through the process, and then they are summarily, 9/10 of them cannot prove that they face any type of political persecution if they go back to their country, and then they are deported. They're not unalived. It's the Democratic Party's scheme to keep those people in this country. And they will use any means of rhetoric. They don't care who they incite. They don't care what's ginned up by it. They're willing to do whatever they need to do to try to stop this train that's running over their future prospects. Tom Homan said, for their political power, their future political power. Listen to what... So Alec, I'm listening to this, right? I'm prepping for the show. I'm watching this. I'm like, man, this is dangerous stuff. Because they're not even saying it the full way, right? It's not, Tiffany Cross could have easily said, they're picking these people up, they're putting them in detention centers, and then they're fast-tracking their process where they would apply for asylum. And if they're granted, they're not granted. 9/10 of them are not granted the asylum, and they're sent packing within 30 days. Oh, that explains it. That's logical. That makes sense. Why should we keep them locked up? But see, you don't want people to know what's happening to them. You want them to believe that we're torturing people in a concentration camp, working until they drop for profit, and then they're never seen again. Leaving it open-ended and dark and gray where you don't know what happened to these people. But we know what happened to those people. Those people were tried. Those people went through a process. The process you say they need. They go through that process. They don't get the outcome you want, because most of them are not here because they're suffering some torture and they're going to be unalive till they go home. They're here to make money. Their families are alive and well in their home country. They're here to make a few extra dollars, Johnson. They're not here to save the whales. They're not here to add to the people of color, which is something else we need to talk about, because any black folks running around saying person of color, people of color, oh, we need to have a conversation. Because these people coming over here, they ain't thinking about that. They coming over here to make a couple dollars to send back to mama. So asylum is not supposed to be so that you can make extra money. When I was a computer contractor, I was offered money if I went to, I think it was like Somalia, not Somalia. Maybe it was Istanbul, or it was in the Middle East. I can't remember exactly where it was. And it was a large amount of money, and I was in my early 30s. And I considered it because it was like your full salary, but you wouldn't need to spend your salary because you'd be given a per diem plus lodging. So I could basically send my check home uncashed and live off the money that they provided me with, and all I had to do was stay there 3 months there, then come home for 2 weeks, and three more months and come home or whatever. It was a crazy thing, and it seemed like a great opportunity, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to the Middle East, even if it paid really well. And what I'm telling you is, the type of money that these people can make from various places in Latin America and other places as well, not just Latin America. People cross the southern border from all types of countries. All types of countries. Okay? But they offer the same kind of opportunity, man. They come over here, they make more money, and they can live off the tax of whatever. They can live off the residual, whatever, 5 of them live in one apartment for $1,200. They send a bulk of the money home. They stack money home, and then they could buy a nice crib at home and do this and take care of the fam. I was thinking about doing when I was in my early 30s. That's what they're doing. That's not a reason to give a person asylum. Asylum's supposed to be because your life is in threat. Your life's been threatened. Natural disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes, regime change, these types of things. Open warfare, those are the reasons for temporary permanent status. Not, I just want to buy a pool. I want to go to Disney World. That's not a reason. So you mean the Democratic Party are so hell-bent on making sure they can beat the Republicans, they're willing to risk and put a battery in the back of mentally unbalanced people and tell them we are unaliving, disappearing innocent people. We got Jasmine Crockett on TV saying, hey, being illegally in the country is not a crime. Nothing happens to you for that. Yeah, nothing happens to you, you get deported. You don't go to jail for it, you just get deported. But if you come back again, well, now it can be charged as a crime. But now it's a reason to be deported. But not go to jail for it, but you get put out the country. It's like trespassing. Trespassing won't usually get you locked up, but you gotta leave. You gotta leave, though. But see, when you say these things out loud to people that don't look up stuff, who have 4-time jobs, maybe 2 4-time jobs, 3 4-time kids, a 4-time mortgage or 4-time rent, 4-time parents that are getting older, a dog that's sick with a bum leg, gotta take care of the dog, take the dog, get the vet, then the car, the tire in the car went down. Like you got all these things going on. They ain't got time to do all a bunch of ruminating mind going over this stuff and look at this clip and that clip and look at Fox and look at CNN and MSNBC and Newsmax and ABC and all this stuff and do all this stuff, do some digging and go to this large language model, pull this, pull that. Maybe there's somebody with a FOIA investigation. We can look into the records. They ain't got time for all that. It's cut on the TV and they got Jasmine Crockett or they got Tiffany Cross saying people are being disappeared into concentration camps and never seen again. And that's legal to say, to amplify. No pushback by the network. Abby Phillips sat there like nothing was being said. Like this is normal stuff. And we sat there like nothing was being said. I know I did. I reported on it, but you know what I'm saying. It's only getting worse, people. It's only getting worse. I'm telling you, the Democratic Party is very desperate. Black American Democratic Party is so desperate, they've been trying to play the scare the hell out of black people card to try to get us back as bad as they can. Oh, they're doing everything. They're pulling out all the stops. They're doing anything they can to scare you back home. Get back in this house. Master gonna beat you. This is a very short clip. I'm about to play it several times for you to get it. Lately, my clips from The View have been censored. But I'm hoping I can get away with this clip because what is said here by a trusted person, at least to other boomers, a famous person, a person who's won awards, who's considered an icon. Listen to what she says. Before you say, Tim, nah, man, don't trip. Nah, listen to this, man. Listen to this. Then tell me I'm tripping.
About you, it's us. He's not going to say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
He's also, can I...
he's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
Whoopi Goldberg just said on national TV she was not censored. Of course, the lady she's saying it to is looking at her like she's crazy. But she ain't interrupted. Whoopi Goldberg says, this is all racial. Trump's doing it to get rid of everybody who ain't white. And he's going to have black people deported if you're in a mixed marriage, a biracial marriage. He's going to deport the black person and put the white person with another white person. She said that. Now, look, man. I know I got people that think I go too far there. I know I got people here that disagree with me. My own step, my brother, my brother Duke said, Tim, I watched his show, man. On 4th of July, I saw my sister's husband. And that's my brother. What's up, D? How you doing, bro? He said, man, we had a good conversation. We need to talk more often, man. I got nothing but love for this brother, man. And he said, Tim, man, I watched his show, man. I agree with some of it. I don't agree with all of it. I say, man, that's cool, I get it, man, Yeah, but I agree with some, but not all of it, Tim, So I know people, I know some people say I go too far. I know this party more than you do. I know the Democrats better than you do. I've been working with them for 10, 15 years. You haven't been. This is how they operate. You so busy looking at Orange Man bad, you don't know how the Democrats get down. And a part of me is a little insulted because part of me says, well, why don't you realize that I'm not some goofball, that I've been operating at a high level here in this political game for over a decade. Maybe I know some things you don't know. Maybe you would think that. Is it the complexion for the protection from the collection? I mean, I worked with candidates who were this close to getting a victory, and then it went the other way. And then when the candidate said, well, let's look at the ballots, because by state law, they got to keep the ballots for at least a year. It only been a month since the election. They went back to do a hand count of the ballots. They had already destroyed the ballots. That's in the Democratic Party. That's what they did to Tim Canova. They just threw the ballots away. So when people say, oh, but the elections are phony, I happen to know. I work with the Becks. How many people remember the Becks when the Becks were bought the DNC fraud lawsuit? Because they said it was a fraud how they were handling their primaries. That the Democrats were unfairly putting their finger on the scale doing a primary. Have you seen them people lately? Somebody ends up unalived. The process server ends up unalived. How many people remember these stories? Well, I was involved in those things. I interviewed these people. These people knew me. They came on my show. I talked to them. Democratic Party said, we don't got to hold no elections. They said this in court. They said we don't have to hold elections. We do that if we feel like it or not. But at the end of the day, we get to choose who we want. You voters don't matter. We can go in the back room and pick a nominee anytime we want. This is our party. It's a private organization. We choose who we get. The DNC picks who they want. You don't really have a say. They said that in court when I had Donna Bazile on the show. She didn't deny it. She just like, who said that? Oh, you know that. I ain't give you no new information. You've been DNC chair twice. How you not going to know? How am I know more than you about how your party operates and what is said about how things are done in the Democratic Party? Sometimes I don't think people give me that credit. They watch shows, people talk. They don't know anything about the parties. They ain't seen these things up close. They don't know up close what happened. How Nina Turner was on a tear about to win that election, and then they send in all that money via PACs and other outside organizations. How Clyburn and the crew came down and did the same thing they did to Bernie and took that election. Operatives working with the other side. All I'm trying to tell you is I know this party more than you think, more than just through news clippings. And what I'm telling you is these things that Whoopi Goldberg is saying are very dangerous. You don't think it's dangerous to tell people that Donald Trump is going to bring back slavery and he's going to rip open black and white families and send the black men to Africa or the black woman to Africa, the black person to another country, and then put the white person, whoever that is, with another white. What is she talking about? How is she able to say shit like that? How is that allowed? Are we just going to laugh that off? Man, that is dangerous. Not only is it dangerous rhetoric, man, we have a country, man, where people are over-medicated. We have a country full of people on all types of psychoactive medications. Somebody skip their meds, hear this mess. And all I'm saying is this is not an accident. Whoopi's not the bravest person in America. She's not on a one-person crash out mission. These are talking points. You don't really believe that the people on The View come up with their own material, do you? You don't really think they do their own research. Joy Behar, they can't trust Joy Behar to find her way home. Here, give this, take this, read this. Read this, say that. Do this, do that. It's all scripted. Hey, trust these cockamamie hens to get something right. The whole everybody watching the #1 show in the country in the daytime. You gonna trust them to say go trust a comedian and say some shit? Oh, come on, man. So what I'm trying to say is it's more diabolical than that. They know what they're playing with. They're playing with fire. And folks, I don't want to laugh it off and make a joke out of it. I'm saying this is dangerous stuff. How can they get away with that? Now, you and I know, Trump ain't done nothing even close to what Obama did. He ain't even in the same vicinity in deportations that Obama was in. And you didn't hear none of this shit. I was here. I was doing this job when Obama was still in office. I don't remember these people saying any of these things they're saying. Do you realize Obama deported, he deported 2.5 million more than any other president? And no one called him Hitler, fascist, unaliver, disappearer. None of that was called. None of that was said. So we know it's all bogus rhetoric, right? People don't know that. They really don't. Like I said, they're busy. They're taking final exams at school, or they're trying to get into school, or they're trying to stay from getting thrown out of school, or they're working 2 jobs. They're driving Uber and Amazon Express and doing this, or Outback, or whatever they're doing. Making music, trying to be a photographer, trying to be a, producer, trying to be an actor or director, or trying to start a business, or trying to get a hustle on and start a t-shirt company, or trying to plant flowers or grow their own garden. People got stuff going on. Trying to raise a toddler, trying to keep the kids from killing themselves and killing each other, killing somebody else. So people got a lot of stuff going on. They don't got time to look up this stuff. They don't know that Trump averages 14,700 deportations a month since February. And that sounds like a whole lot of people, don't it? Sounds like a whole lot of people until you find out Obama was deporting like 36,000 people per month. And they weren't saying anything. So you mean to tell me all this talk and he's double Trump? And y'all were quiet, and now the Trump's doing the same thing. Now it's the end of days, and now people going to concentration camps. People getting unalive, disappeared. What was happening to people when Obama was doing it? What was that called? Tuesday. What's the day? Oh, Thursday. It was called just another Thursday. That's what it was called. And then they said, tell me, why you get so hard on the Democrats? Have you listened to any of the show so far? Rewind this clip. Play it again. Play it for friends. I didn't start out this way. I tell anybody, I was fooled like most people. I was a Democrat, but I was like more of a progressive Democrat. I voted for Obama. Then I went Green Party. Now I'm just nothing. I'm no party. I'm partyless. I'm without a party now. Because I be talking, I'm focused on this immigration thing because it's beyond parties. I'm worried about the survival of black people in this country at all. Black Americans. I'm worried about the survival of black America, period. They say by 2043, our wealth will be zeroed out effectively in this country. You got time. I don't have time to play. I have black kids. You don't, so I guess you got all day to not worry about this. I have to worry about it. I choose to worry about it. Put it that way. I choose to care about it. Back to my point. We start looking at the data, we see that it can't be based in reality what they're upset about, because when I read you the numbers about how Obama got down, you realize it's nothing compared to what Trump is doing. What Trump is doing is nothing. It's nothing compared to what Obama did. What Trump is doing ain't even close to what Obama was doing. But the rhetoric and the gaslighting, oh God, it's off the charts. It's maniacal. It's insane. And it's allowed to happen. And I gotta say something, because a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing, they don't know, they don't read this stuff. They don't know. What context do they really have? They weren't even doing this more than 2 years ago. They say, ooh, I can make some money talking this. Or maybe they really care, I don't know. But they weren't here for these things. They don't know how diabolical the Democratic Party is. They don't understand the numbers. They don't know how totally false all this reporting is. They were literally on CNN arguing points that wouldn't even be considered, wouldn't even be discussed on air when Obama was president. They wouldn't even have the conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? These things that people are losing their mind about would not even didn't even make the news in 09 or 10 or 13 or 14 or 15. This wasn't even on it wasn't even discussed on air. And now they call it for national security. They're willing to risk the security of the country over it because they can't win elections. Listen to Karen Bass. Listen to her.
Absolutely will not accept that this is the norm. What happened at MacArthur Park was a performance. It was a show of force. It was someone saying that, we are the federal government, and if we choose to take power away from a governor or away from a mayor, this is the new normal. And my response to that is that I've seen this movie before. It used to be called a coup, and it happens in other countries. So this is the federal seizure of power from our governor, federalizing the National Guard, deploying them to Los Angeles when they were not requested nor were they needed. And I think the idea that we should accept this, people being snatched off the street by masked men in plain clothes with vests on that it looks like they got from Amazon, carrying guns and pulling people aside, no warrants, arresting them, detaining them. We don't know where they go. They have no contact with their families or with the law or with the legal counsel. What is this?
She said she considers the federal government going to California a coup. How does that even make sense, fam? The federal government is very much within their rights to send in the National Guard. They don't need your permission to do that. They don't need your permission to go to a park. And remember, we're talking about MacArthur Park. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be a pristine park. It could be an amazing park. It's not, though. It's a drug haven. It's an open drug marketplace that's been notoriously violent for a couple decades. Cartel ran up and through. Cartel open extortion on businesses in the area. That's what that park is that she's talking about. So that's the first thing. But like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of park it is. It's not against the law or the Constitution or anything for the National Guard or for ICE to go to that park. Not at all. She used the same language. These people are being disappeared. Oh, you mean put in jail? You mean picked up? That's what you're talking about? Disappeared as in, oh, you mean detained. Oh, that's what they call it. Yeah, it's called detained. It happens to American citizens all the time. They get detained. They get to make a phone call when it's time to make a phone call. Police pick up people all the time. They assume that they think that you're committing a crime. They can pick you up. You under the suspicion of committing a crime. But see, in California, they don't consider being here undocumented as a reason for being detained. They don't consider that a reason for being deported. But unfortunately for Miss Bass, Mayor Bass, she lives in America. And the federal government does consider it against the law. So she cannot obstruct ICE or Department of Homeland Security from doing their damn jobs. Them doing their jobs is not a coup. It's not fascism. That's the rules of the land. There are maybe a couple countries. I don't know what countries those are because I know Poland, Germany, Australia have tougher. Mexico, Canada have much tougher immigration laws than we do. They are just used to exploiting cheap labor in California for so long that they can't wrap their heads around operating like a normal city. They can't fathom the possibility of having to be normal and not have an exploitative class. And before you say, oh no, Tim, but how the business is gonna stay open? You know what? When they shut down one of the factories in Nebraska, and they lost like 40 employees that day, guess what? The next week, Americans took those jobs. Don't you believe Americans won't work jobs. They'll work jobs. You just got to pay them and give them benefits. That's all. Just got to pay them and give them benefits. That's all you got to do. And guess what? Americans will work jobs. Because jobs Americans work, pay money and give benefits. But the point is, Mayor Bass is putting that out. Knowing there's nothing she can do. Knowing she doesn't have any legal standing to be able to say or prove or sue or do a damn thing. But she's saying it. And that's what got me thinking that I had to talk about this, because why would you say that when you have no recourse? Because it's not against the law. There is no recourse. There's nothing to sue. The MacArthur Park business owners have noted MS-13 and 18th Street gang influence, with drug sales and extortion by cartels occurring openly. Karen Bass doesn't want to solve those problems. In fact, she is upset, complaining and saying it's cool if cops come into the park. It seems to me like maybe she has something to do with the illegal activities going on there. Why would you want those illegal activities to continue? Get what I'm saying? And it starts to harken back to all the things I've ever heard from those same conservatives, the sane ones, because there's crazy conservatives like there's crazy liberals and there's crazy progressives. There's crazy conservatives too. But the sane ones who were like, my whole career I'd have, every once in a while, I have a conservative going, Tim, you're a good guy, man. You're dealing with the wrong party. These people crazy. These people don't mean well for the country. They don't mean well for you. You'll find out, Tim. You'll find out. You'll find out. You'll find out. You're a good guy. You're funny, Tim, but you're in the wrong party. They don't care about you. They're using you. Don't, Tim. You're going to see. You're going to see, my brother. That's what they kept saying. Bass's lawsuit claiming these raids are unconstitutional ignores the federal government's prerogative to enforce immigration laws, especially in areas with documented gang and drug use. Her interference demanding agents leave during the operation could be seen as obstructing federal law enforcement, which courts have consistently upheld as a federal responsibility. Her claim that the raids target innocent people overlooks the data showing ICE prioritizes those with criminal records, with 70% of recent detainees having charges or convictions. Suing to halt these operations risk exacerbating the park's lawlessness. She don't care. That's the underlying thing. It's the thing that's running through all this. It's the thread that's connecting all this together. It's the Democrats don't care. They don't care if they incite nut jobs to do nutty things that are also dangerous and lawless. And they don't care about the mental health of people who are sitting back watching this going, what is happening to my country? Because this type of rhetoric creates situations like this.
Take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at federal agents. This happened this afternoon. It was a really chaotic scene at the time. A lot of smoke was being launched at the protesters. And again, it appears a protester fired back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents being hurt.
So we know what happened. There were 9 civilians arrested, 9 U.S. citizens arrested for an attempted, now that looked like a coup, but it wouldn't be a coup, but that looked like an illegal activity, a scheme. They were wearing all black fatigues. Some of them had on, was it body armor? They used fireworks to lure police officers out of the station, and when they came out, they ambushed them. One of the rifles with an AR-styled rifle jammed. But they shot multiple times at the officers. And one of the officers was struck in the neck. Now, I already stated that because I have this automatic response, this natural response to not be all that concerned about police officers, but I gotta say, this is dangerous. Because now I want the laws upheld. Now, you shouldn't be able to come to America and knock the cost of wages down in the dirt because you want to make a couple extra dollars. And you don't care if you mess up our whole economy. You shouldn't be able to come here. Those employers employ you. Now, I did hear the owner of a restaurant was arrested for hiring undocumented people on purpose. I thought that was great. That was good. More of that, please. More of that, please. There are people all over the globe that are having money problems. There are people all over the globe that are having money problems. People all over the globe don't get to come here and make it harder for black people who are at the bottom in this country, who ain't never had their shit made right in this country, and then make it harder for us, and then get the jobs, speak their own language from their homeland. Now we can't get a job at the place they get a job. And you're going, but I gotta support them because they ain't got money problems. We got money problems. And we help build this. Where being a humanitarian goes wrong. Whole globes. The whole globe has people with money problems on it. They don't all get to come here, bring their language, don't speak our language. Employers hire them and just say, well, everybody who works here speaks that language. Can't hire you, let's just speak that. And now we can't get a damn job. And you go, but I want to help them. Go help them in their country. Not in this one. We gotta live in this one. This is the only one we know. You got so much money at your disposal where you can just help everybody. Help us. You owe us. You don't owe them. What you got to do with that? It was my parents who were making sit on the back of the bus, not theirs. They were drinking coconut water on a beach or some shit. Okay. Back to my main point. What the Democratic Party doing is very dangerous. It's not funny. Not funny. No funny. No funny. This is serious business. There are people in that rap too tight. They do not need extra incentives to be extra. They're already extra. They don't need Whoopi Goldberg saying, Trump gonna bring back slavery, deport black people, split up biracial families, and remarry the whites off to keep their property here. We don't need people saying, oh, undocumented people are being put into concentration camps. We don't have an Auschwitz here. What are you talking about? So you're saying these undocumented people don't have cousins and friends who might get up a little upset, who might have access to guns. Remember, people in America have more guns than people. We have more guns than people. Really not the place for such exaggerating language. Then when we say, what do you mean concentration camps? You're saying there are ovens and people are being put in ovens and unalive? No, that's not what I mean. I don't mean that. You know what I mean. No, I know what you mean. You mean jail, right? You mean detention center, right? We got a lot of those. Cook County's one of them. Right, because Cook County, we know those. That's what you're saying? Okay, then why don't you just say jail then? Why you just can't use jail? Why you gotta use concentration camp as a descriptor? What's happening there that's different than what's happening in Cook County? Be real specific, you hack. Be very clear. Because when it's heard to the ears of somebody who's unhinged, who knows how they're going to take that? I'm worried about us, man. I'm worried because these people do not care who they hurt. These people do not care. Because if they don't get to win, you don't get to live. They don't, Johnson, they do not care. Yesterday, when I reported on those, the group of people that set the cops up and did a raid on the police officers, whatever, on ICE or whatever it was. And I said, I don't want to blame the Democrats for that, because just because AOC or Jasmine Crockett or whoever the hell said something on this show doesn't mean you're supposed to take that. And I know we had the oligarchy tour and all this shit, but that don't mean you get to take that. No, I changed my opinion because I feel that this is a concerted effort to put out those talking points, to rile up people, to leave out that both sides of the aisle were doing this one election ago. And that what's happening now, or what happened under Biden, was a reversal only for political means to get voters in here. That's all that was. It was a tactical move because he was the vice president under which there was 2.5 times more deportations under Biden. So it just shows that he's a scumbag who really has no belief in anything. He was a part of the administration that did the most deportations and a part of the administration that did the least amount of deportations and the most amount of illegal arrivals. Same guy, both extremes, soulless. And when you start thinking about all of it, when you sit back, you got time. Remember, I do this for a living. I sit back, I do this, I look at this thing, I read the thing, I research the thing. I'm like, you know what? This ain't normal. You can't put this shit in a book or a movie. Nobody believe it. They be like, Tim, I can't suspend reality long enough to believe the concept that you're giving me in this movie. You need to tell me you got a movie where the premise is the people that run the country are trying to destroy the country at the same time they run it. Where are they going to live at? It doesn't make sense, Tim. Why would they destroy the country that they're living in? Why would they put things out to make civil unrest for what it means? It doesn't make sense. What are they getting from it? Then I start sounding like Charles S. Dutton because I'm like, well, I ain't figured that part out yet. Political power. And some say it's stronger than oak. Look, guys, all I'm saying is what's happening with this is very dangerous. The games that they're playing, very dangerous. This rhetoric, these lies, very dangerous. Tiffany Cross, Whoopi Goldberg, they ain't the only ones. They are not the only ones. And I don't believe these people are outliers. I don't believe that Whoopi and Crockett and Tiffany Cross have lost it, and Mayor Banks, Bass, Big Mouth Bass. I don't believe that they are operating within a vacuum, that they've gone off and start running their own reindeer games. I don't believe that. They are operatives. They're operating within the framework of what they've been dictated. That's what they're doing. Believe me, I believe Tiffany learned her lesson. She's doing whatever she got to do to get back in good graces now. She said she stepped out of line once, lost a gig. I know she's trying to get back now. I don't know what to tell you to do about this information. But I just had to say it. I had to put it into words and convey it to my audience because this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm looking at. It's what I see. Let's go to comments. What do you think? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so many people don't see it. Thank you for the comment, fam. So many people do not see it. They see these people mean well. They're trying to help us. That's what you think, huh? I'm not saying the Republicans are trying to help us. They see the political angle of the Democrats. They don't want to give them the edge. They're trying to knock them out of bounds. I'm not saying they're the saviors. But sometimes you're in a situation where the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Sometimes that can happen. A bully knocks out the bully that was taking money from you as a good bully. It's a useful bully. Doesn't mean he's a good guy. Different day, maybe he's bullying you, taking your money himself, but not this time. Not this time. Not this particular situation. All I'm saying is, we have to be aware. That's all I'm saying. Trump's advisor said alligators have 65 million meals with a smile. That's scary. I wish I understood the context of that. It's only made more vocal during this administration. Democrats, it is strange they are acting this way, knowing that American-born illegal naturalized citizens' wages get more and more depressed. Yeah, I know that's a fact. I also know no one ever wants to admit it when I bring it up. And I don't mean, I don't mean regular people. I mean people with something to lose that are part of the machine or want to be in the belly of the machine. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to admit what's basic. And I also realize maybe it's probably not in my best interest to even talk about it. Be like most others who put their heads down and just go get their money and leave this sort of business of truth and justice out of the equation. Let's go get paid. But if you know something, it'd be different. I liked it better when I didn't know these things, when I couldn't connect the dots. When you can't connect the dots, it got a plausibility. When you're dumb, it's okay. I mean, you're dumb. You don't know. At least you can't be blamed for it. But once you know what you're doing, once you know what's going on, now you're part of it. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of this. Robin Smith says, Tim, try not to push yourself too much. This is a passionate issue indeed. Yeah, I'm a chill. I'm good. I'm good. But you're right though. Don't get too excited, Tim. It's not good for the health to get too excited. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. Thank you for your concern, brother. Appreciate you. Bass is a Latino in that FBA. I know that too. It seems like some people can't tell that though. They can't see. They couldn't see. Hey, I had to hear Kamala. For some reason, I don't know, because I didn't support Kamala. For some reason, people kept saying I didn't love black women. Let's get this right. Raising young black women, my daughters, married to a black woman, came out of the uterus of a black woman, but now I don't love a black woman because I won't vote for the Asian, Indian, Jamaican woman? Nah. Doesn't make sense. Stupid shit. And these were black women saying it. I was like, We got a problem here. We got a serious problem here, man. All right, guys, that's all I got. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack. Become a VIP by going to jointimblack.com. It's been a while. We're looking for new people to come through there. You know, maybe someday in the future, when some of us are gone, maybe then we'll get the respect we deserve. They always give you flowers when you're gone and you can't smell them. It'd be nice to get them before it's too late. Look, we'll be back tomorrow. We try to end the week strong, on a strong note on a Friday. Hope to see you there. Remember, like I always say, don't let anybody take your cornbread. Go to jointimblack.com or Tim's Take Live on Patreon to become a member. It is what it is. Thank you, Troy Covington, the Godfather. Foolish Coyote up in the building. Katrina Porter in the house. Missy Kim in the building. Daryl Owens in the house. Jorge Pernell. Gary Guts in the place. Yeah. Jenny Flulin says, thank you, Tim Black. Well, thank you for being here. MacArthur Park won't even allow black people at the park, and it used to be a black neighborhood. You know what's funny about that, Hornell? I just had someone say, but Tim Black, the ICE workers are probably racist. I didn't hire them. So that means they get to stay in the country forever, huh? That's your solution. Your solution is we should continue to let black people be displaced by people that are not citizens of this country just so the government and for corporations to make an extra buck off of them. That's your solution to it. Because you know how they're going to have a comeback to these people could be racist. So you tell the black guy, maybe these people are racist. Therefore, you're saying we shouldn't do shit. We should just let other people come into the country and continue to displace all black people that built this country, who never got their 40 acres in the mule, never got reparations, never got shit. We should just allow that because maybe the cops might be racist. I don't know if you noticed or not, my brother, but the cops that usually police us, and you never say it stop them from being cops. It's just very funny, man. It's like the level of don't give a damn when unless it's convenient for yourself in your moral whatever that is just it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. Oh, Tim, I didn't mean all that. Yeah, but you do when you say, so you mean we have to just continue to go this way? I told you black people, since 1950, 40% of black Americans own homes. 70 years later, we're still stuck at 40%. Meanwhile, Latinos, who largely didn't come to this country until like the 1970s, are at 50% home ownership. White Americans at 70 plus. You're fine with it because you must not be black. I'm an advocate for black America, so I'm kind of concerned with the fact our numbers haven't moved in 70 years. While we've been voting for the same party 90% of the time. I point these things out to you because maybe you don't know them. Maybe you just like to type in my chat and you just don't know shit. These numbers are not hidden. If you cared about home ownership, which is where most Americans build their wealth, most Americans don't trade on the Wall Street. Once upon a time, the American dream was your home. You know what I'm saying? So and that's a good barometer for what people, how people are doing. That's a good way to tell. Hey, that's it, man. It's all good, man. Rookie mistake. All right, guys, look, have a great evening, my friends. I'm glad to be here. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't let anybody take your cornbread, fam. Keep your cornbread, fam. Just keep it, because they will take it. If you allow it, they will take it and eat it in front of you and ask for seconds and not offer you any of it. And as always, I got to ask a question because it's important to me. Where are my ladies? Where are my ladies? Up. There they go. Wolfpack.